So we want to welcome everyone to the closing plenary for our ESIP January meeting. My name is Alicia Krall, and I am the Community Director for ESIP. Next slide. Before we get started, we have a few quick reminders. First, we would love to get your feedback about your experience attending this meeting. You can submit feedback about any of the individual sessions through Sched, but we also have a feedback form which you can find at the link that I'm pasting into the chat, or you can also use the QR code shown on the slide here. Next slide. Next, we are still running our t-shirt fundraiser. We have 2 designs and all proceeds go to fund ESIP activities. You can find the fundraiser and how to order your t-shirts at the QR code or the link that I am about to share in the chat will also take you there. We have met our minimum order for both designs in order to send to print, so that is fantastic. Thank you all so much for that. If you do still plan to order a t-shirt, all orders must be in by January 30th when the fundraiser is going to close, and we expect shirts to be shipped by mid-February. So we are now going to transition to our peer recognition ceremony. This is a time that ESIP recognizes the outstanding accomplishments, achievements, and service of our community by our partner organizations, collaboration areas, and individual members. This organization does not function without all of your contributions, so I want to personally thank each and every one of you for all that you do, especially all of those who organize sessions throughout the week. We really appreciate it. I'm now going to hand it over to our ESIP President, Douglas Rao, to present our Catalyst and President's Awards.
Thanks, Alicia, and thank you everyone for joining the ESIP January meeting this week. And I really enjoyed seeing many of you on camera and also interacting with you. And this is probably one of the best job for the ESIP president that I got to recognize the great contributors to the community. And the first award to be presented is the Catalyst Award. Given by ESIP President, the Catalyst Award honors those who have brought about positive changes in ESIP and inspired others to take actions in the past year. And the award for the Catalyst Award this year goes to Chandra Earl, who leads the development of the data help desk. I really enjoyed to see the data help desk cluster to transfer from a staff-run activity into a community-run activity that have brought really positive impact, not just to the traditional data help desk, but also broaden the impact to the international groups as well. Chandra, do you want to say something?
Sure. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I was so nervous this morning because I was like, I know I've got to say something. But now that I'm here, I'm just like choking up, honestly, a little bit. So when I first got involved in ESIP, I wasn't really sure where or even if I fit into the community because like I'm a biologist in training and in background, so I don't really come from an earth science background. And so I remember walking into my first ESIP meeting and just being so overwhelmed because like there was a lot of federal people and industry people. And I was like, oh my goodness, like what is going on? This is not what I'm used to. And really just like a lot of the sessions and technical conversations are really outside my expertise. And so it made it really hard for me to know how I was supposed to participate in all of this and where I was supposed to get started. But what really kept me coming back was honestly the culture of this community. And I'm sure it's been said 100 times, but I absolutely think it is true. I think one of the hallmarks of ESIP is the fact that it's so welcoming to people from all kinds of backgrounds, and just the fact that the individuals in this community genuinely love what they do. And it's very obvious. They're pitching ideas. They're genuinely wanting to be there. And that in turn made me really excited, even though I didn't, super know what was going on. And of course, I've found like my sort of home in the data help desk, and where I got to meet some really awesome people. So yeah, thank you to the leadership, Zoe, Alicia, Aaron, and Patty, and the original data help desk crew, Steve, Amber, and Wade, who kind of like kept me on board. And of course, Megan Orlando, whose coattails I am severely riding on this. But yeah, just thank you to all for sort of who came before and for giving me this award.
Thank you, Chandra. I think the comments Chandra made, it's also brought me back to my first time attending ESIP as an ESIP community fellow in 2018, that when everyone's talking about ontology and semantics, I have no idea what they're talking about. But gradually, you got in. It's very welcoming community. People always try to work with you and help you to learn, and they'll help you to advance in your career as well. Congratulations, Chandra. We are transitioning to the second award. I have the honor to select for this year. The President's Award is presented to an individual who has made the most significant contribution to ESAP in the previous year. It is given out annually at the January meeting. And we all know the year of 2025 has a lot of uncertainty, external forces driven chaos, but ESAP community has banded together and moved forwards. And this year, I want to present this award to an individual of the community who, despite all those uncertainty, made a significant contribution to the community, and also leading the work on the resilience of the Earth Science data and the repositories. So this year's awards will be given to Joseph Gum. Joseph, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you, Douglas. I really appreciate getting this award. To be honest, I'd like to accept this award for everyone that's been thrown in upheaval, for anyone that's been rift, Verad, VSIPed. I don't think I did anything personally very special, just I did work that needed to be done in this time. And I hope this is not my last meeting. I hope to continue to be around and see you all in the future. The future is uncertain, so eat dessert first.
Thank you, Joseph. Since you have the stage, do you want to say a little bit more about the repository crisis score and the ongoing project you have been working on?
Yes. So if you don't know, ESIP has a 6-month Sloan Award for the repository crisis scorecards. Myself, Alicia, and Talisha, who actually led the session on Tuesday because I was out sick, are the co-PIs for the award. We're trying to essentially establish a longitudinal survey that sets up gives a quantitative measurement for the health of science infrastructure, in particular science repositories, places that manage data, large, small, specialist, generalist, institutional. If you think you have some experience with a repository and you think you can fill it out, we would really appreciate if you could fill it out. I think we're about halfway to our metrics that we said we'd report to Sloan. It'd be nice to get a few more results in before the end of the award in a couple of months. But we hope to present this at a future meeting, or maybe just in the Sustainable Data Management cluster calls sometime after the award is done, to be able to present our white paper and tell you all about what we found out from all of you and from others just like us in other disciplines, in life sciences, in material science, in humanities, social sciences. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Those are great work, and I hope others in the audience can join Joseph and then contribute to some of the assessment of the health of the scientific data infrastructure. With that, I am going to turn it over to Alicia, who will be presenting the Collaboration of the Year Award.
Thanks so much, Douglas, and congratulations to our earlier award winners. As I mentioned at the opening of the plenary, ESIP does not function without all of your contributions. So that includes the 30 plus collaboration areas that are central to the work of ESIP. We provide the space and the resources to gather people to take on challenges that cannot be solved alone, but you all do the work to solve those challenges that you have identified as a community. So the Collaboration of the Year Award is a way to recognize and celebrate how people work together and get things done in ESIP. As you can imagine, we received a lot of strong nominations this year for Collaboration of the Year. The partnership committee reviewed all the nominations, and I'm excited to announce that this year's award winner is the Physical Sample Curation Cluster. So the cluster, currently led by Andrea Tomer and Natalie Rea, has been working for 4 years on the development of physical sample citation guidelines. In 2025, a refined version of the guidelines was published. It's currently under review for ESIP endorsement, plus a paper in Scientific Data with over 30 authors, most from ESIP, that described their work. They believe the guidelines will make it possible for collection managers, funders, and sample collectors to get more credit for their contributions to sample curation and will enable further sample reuse. The cluster has worked for a long time to accomplish their current goals, with former leadership also including John Demereaux, Sarah Ramdeen, and Val Stanley. They credit their ability to leverage ESIP's meeting structure and focus on data problems to create actionable guidelines for data citation and outlining future steps for work. So I'm going to invite a few leaders of the Physical Sample Curation Cluster to accept the award and say a few words. So I'm going to turn it over to y'all.
Hey, I can get us started. First, thank you so much for this. This really means a lot. We've been working on this project, like you said, I know the cluster started 4 years ago, but I think work on this project has been going on for like 5 or 6 years. And I do really want to emphasize that Sarah Ramdeen was one of the initial driving forces for getting this project started. And I don't think we'd be here without all of the work that she did getting this going. Val Stanley was also really important in getting this work done as one of the first cluster leaders. Joan and Natalie, do you guys want to say anything?
Yeah, I guess wanted to mention again, like this really required persistence and a clear goal that we had to really work to get everyone to agree on. We had like several meetings just agreeing on what our deliverable would be. And we really sought like input from diverse stakeholders, including scientists from different fields and both data and sample repository professionals and folks representing labs and journal publishers. And I think that's what really made it both challenging and successful in the end.
Yeah, and I would just add that the interdisciplinary nature of what we ended up producing is something that I think is increasingly becoming important, and it's being seen as a strength. So we've been able to kind of take this beyond the page in the last year and present this to the librarian community at the Geoscience Information Society. We've also had the opportunity to present to the USGS Community for Data Integration, and we have upcoming presentations with the Research Data Access and Preservation Community, RDAP, and LTER information managers. And all of these kind of disseminating outputs phase of the work has only been possible because of the network of the cluster and the commitment of all the cluster members to kind of spinning this up and continuing kind of the adoption phase. So yeah, a true team effort.
Yeah, we really appreciate all the support that ESIP has given us over the years. Like Megan Orlando was so helpful in just keeping us focused and being just like relentlessly positive when we were getting slightly frustrated. And and that was really important. And I don't know how to phrase this quite well, but like I'm aware that like there are folks that we have collaborated with that are no longer in academia and in science. And I know that that's really happening a lot now. And it's just, ESIP is both a great place for us to come together as volunteers and people who are passionate about things, and it's also a place where, like, I don't know, that feels so much more precious now as this is kind of going away. So I'm looking forward to continue being in this community and, yeah, fighting for our precarious colleagues.
Well, thank you all so much, and congratulations again. We appreciate all y'all have done.
Right. Congratulations for the Collaboration of the Year award. And next, I want to introduce Amber, who is the Vice President of ESIP Board. She will be presenting Martha E. Maiden Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thanks, Douglas. Yes, it is my absolute pleasure and privilege as Vice President of ESIP to present the 2026 Martha Maiden Lifetime Achievement Award winner. The Martha Maiden Award was established in 2009, and it continues to recognize individuals who have demonstrated leadership and dedication in the field and for their outstanding service to the earth science information community. And so this year's winner is no exception, and she joins a formidable cast of individuals who have continued to drive the ESIP vision over the last 17 years. Dr. Eli Holmes, is a research scientist at the NOAA National Marine Fisheries Service, where she leads an open science program promoting adoption of open science and open data practices across NOAA fisheries. She's actively engaged in open science training, having reached hundreds of NOAA staff, in addition to supporting more community-based hack events. Dr. Holmes is a population modeler. She's a conservation biologist, a software developer, a policy advisor, an open science advocate, a teacher, and so much more. And her colleague letters of support for the nomination describe Eli as an outstanding leader, as a lifelong learner, and as someone whose work encompasses both the technical and the cultural aspects of earth science ecosystems. She is described as having both integrity and adopting transparency in her collaborations, and she enables open science policy and practice as the norm. The review committee agree that Eli exemplifies the collaborative spirit of ESIP, and she embodies qualities of outstanding service, leadership, dedication, and collaboration that are recognized by the Martha Maiden Award. I thank the Martha Maiden Review Committee for their work and congratulate Dr. Eli Holmes on receiving the 2026 Martha Maiden Lifetime Achievement Award. And pass it over to you, Eli, for any comments.
Hi, yeah. Thank you so much for this award. I'm really honored, and it's really great to be recognized with these kind of awards, especially like a lifetime award. Obviously, like none of this work I did, and it's very open and very collaborative, happened alone. And I wanted to first shout out to my, the colleagues who have been so influential over the years, and many of them, there are quite a few on the line too. A lot of the work I do, not a lot, the work I do at NOAA is supporting and working with a really passionate group who supports open data and open science, and it's so fun to work with them. Also, across the federal agencies, being involved with especially a shout out to the White House Subcommittee for Open Science. I know there's a bunch of people who are also on that. I think for me, that was at a time, things are changing, and it was so inspirational to see how much energy there is for open data sharing and this commitment to sharing across the federal agencies. That's really rejuvenated me over the last few years. And, when you get this award, you kind of it makes you think back okay, well, so what has my career really been about? And I was thinking that, I think for me, a goal all the way from the beginning. So I'm a statistician, applied mathematician. I develop algorithms for analyzing data, and really from the get-go, really believe that it's important to make your code public, your papers open access, and all that. But that's not enough. I feel like that also needs to be usable, and that requires dedicating some significant amount of time to working with your end users, understanding them, and being really humble and hearing what their needs are, which something might be easy for you, but if it's hard for them, like that's a barrier. And that, especially this last 5 years when I've interacted with, it's probably many thousands of scientists all around the world, because I've been running these hack weeks internationally also, and really understanding how people engage with Earth data and understanding the tools that they need to make that data accessible has been a big goal of mine, and also a really fun goal. I get to work with quite a few people who are on this call too, which has been really great. So thank you to the ESIP community. It's been a real positive part of my career over the last 5 years or so. Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Congratulations, Eli. Well deserved. I'm really happy for you. And I think that concludes all our award winner for this year's January meeting. But I also want to thank Mark Parsons, who is an extraordinary individual who has been helping the ESIP through the transition since last Seattle meeting, and to step in as an interim exec director for ESIP as we trying to identifying the very capable next exec director for the organization. Thanks, Mark, for the past few months that leading the very capable staff moving forwards, and then supporting the community throughout the time. And if you have not heard, yes, let's all the applause going on. If you have not heard that ESIP has a new exec director, now it's my privilege to introduce Dr. Sarah Cooley as the next ESIP exec director, who started as of the beginning of this month. I had the opportunity to make the verbal offer to Sarah late last year to become the next exec director. At that time, on the phone call, I told Sarah this is actually not the first time I talked with her, because I met her through the NOAA Climate Connection 2.0 workshop in DC. And what I have not told her in that phone call is that the brief interaction I had with Sarah at that time left a really strong mark for me about her, because of her passion and about the work she does, and also her warm personalities that people just were drawn to her. And with her extensive experience, both in the nonprofits as well as in project management in government agencies, I think Sarah would be an excellent individual for ESIP as the executive director. Sarah, I would like to turn it over to you and give few remarks.
Thank you so much, Douglas, for that really kind introduction. I want to say a big congratulations to all the award winners. Oh, I'm having trouble. Okay, I'm getting all these alerts from. Anyway, all right. Thanks, everybody, for the kind introduction, and congratulations to the award winners. You've really made amazing contributions, and that is really important to this community. But also, I want to thank everybody who's still here, to thank you for blocking out hours of your week to spend with this community. ESIP activities normally advance via carefully planned recurring meeting windows and these collaborations, and people have to claw out time for these participation, to participate in these activities, and making space for even longer meetings can be really hard. But what I saw this week was the value of spending time helping cross-link different groups in ESIP and thinking outside the established clusters and committees that exist. I saw so much cross-connecting, and panelists in one session were attending other sessions as audience members. And that's a really significant commitment, especially when we haven't been able to shut out the outside world by coming together in person. So give yourselves a round of applause for making more space space for ESIP this week. That's pretty important. I wanted to reflect a little bit because this is my first ESIP meeting. And so my goal was to listen as much as I could across as many topics as possible. So thank you to the session leaders for giving me grace to slip in and slip out of your sessions now and then. I have a longstanding interest in putting science to work. I've done that in academic, nonprofit, and federal settings. So first, it became an interest in and a specialization in science writing and science communication. And then that moved me back to be an interdisciplinary scientist to lead projects that connected natural science and social science. And then it turned me towards building coalitions and helping others make a greater impact with their science. And so I'm really excited to help lead ESIP because this organization is doing all of those things. There's science communications, there's cross-connecting, and there's making a bigger impact with science. So as I learned this week, I heard all about these themes. So I had to think hard about some takeaways that I wanted to reflect back to this community after listening all week. First of all, there is such a strong DIY or we can do it spirit in this community. If I had to choose an image to go on the introductory slide, instead of being my own face, it would be Rosie the Riveter because she's got rolled up sleeves and this level-headed resolve to do hard things. And that's what's in this community. Another takeaway is that the size of this community is a big thing that gives it strength. So, for example, when talking about how to encourage uptake of new standards and new best practices, it's one thing to have a great idea and try to convince other people or other groups to take it up. But the humongous ESIP community is able to come up with new ideas and then get them implemented really widely because it's an easy hand-to-hand transfer. So that's really impressive. Another takeaway is I can't count the number of times this week I heard someone say, well, this activity arose out of this other ESIP activity. This community is self-seeding. So one activity will spark many other activities. So it's a real incubator of new thinking, and that's really special. I've also heard a number of times people cite the phrase, we're moving at the speed of trust. But from my eye, you've got more than enough community trust. And so there are a lot of opportunities to be bold here. And I'm looking forward to helping find those with the community. And then finally, one of the things that I see emerging from this meeting is there's a real need to support cross-linking now across ESIP. This is how ESIP seeds new ideas and implements important advances. And if the community is a patchwork of ideas and groups, it's time to add backing fabric to that quilt. So the large pieces of material on the back that stabilize the colorful mosaic on the front. So I'm looking forward to what comes next for ESIP. I hope you had a really stimulating meeting and came away with new energy, new connections, and new ideas, because I sure did. I would love to hear from you, get to know you. Please get in touch, and I'm always glad to hear from you. Thanks, everybody, and congratulations on a wonderful meeting.
Thank you, Sarah. I believe all the community members are looking forward to working with you as you are ramping up as the ESIP exec director. And I want to echo Sarah's congratulations again to all the awards winners today. And also I want to thank everyone to the plan of the meeting as well as participating in the meeting. A lot of those really mighty and active discussions throughout the week. And I think 2025 is a very challenging year for many people, but the community banded together and we have reiterated our own purpose as a ESIP community, really to make the data matter, to support our users, and then to support decision makers connecting with the communities. And as we start the new year 2026, and there are a lot more opportunities for us to really go above and beyond to deliver and collaborate, not just within the ESIP community, also reaching out to others and then working with them. Some of the sessions I really enjoyed is a discussion, how can we connecting with international communities really intentionally and to build the bridges with the international organizations, where a lot of ESIP's activities and products has been leveraged and made a strong impact beyond the border of the United States. So thank you everyone for a wonderful week this week. And I will turn back to the staff. I believe we may have one slide about our awesome meeting.
Yeah, I think that's me. Thank you, Douglas. This is, I guess, my last official act. And so as part of that, I also want to offer my congratulations to all the award winners. I think they're representative of just what a great community we have. And as you just saw with Sarah, I think ESIP is in great hands. So this short little stint that I've had as interim director has really been one of the more rewarding things in my career. It's been a lot of fun. And a lot of that is because of the awesome staff that ESIP has. So props to Alicia, Zoe, Aaron, and Patty. I hope you got to meet them all during the course of the week. They truly are incredible. And also just thanks to Douglas and the board for giving me this opportunity. It's, like I said, it's been a lot of fun. So just to wrap things up, I want to remind you all that we will have a highlights webinar that will highlight the pieces of this meeting. That's coming up on February 23rd at noon Eastern. And also we will have all the sessions that were recorded available fairly soon. And then just to go to the last slide, hope to see you all in Austin, live and in person, for our July meeting, and which should be a lot of fun as well. And just keep going. ESIP is a remarkable community that, as we just heard, is doing some incredible things and really leveraging off of each other, the work that you all do. So keep going with the awesome collaboration. And if you don't know where to go or how to help, feel free to reach out to the staff. So thanks again, everybody. It's been a great week. We'll see you down the road.